Welcome to the Programming Lions podcast. Today we have Calley Means. He is the co-founder of TrueMed, enabling tax-free HSA, FSA spending on supplements, exercise, and healthy food. He recently authored the book Good Energy, which has consistently been on the New York Times bestseller list. Calley is a true advocate for health. He's been on every major news outlet. He's even been on major podcasts, instrumental in the MAHA movement, even connecting Trump and RFK. In this podcast, we've got a good mix of fun and serious topics. So without further ado, let's get into it. Calley Means, thanks for joining us in the Programming Lions podcast.
Honored to be here.
We're excited to have you. You are the founder of TrueMed. You're the co-author of Good Energy. You are a pillar of the MAHA movement, which we definitely want to get into. You've been on pretty much every major news program, podcast like Rogan, Russell Brand, Tucker Carlson, Dr. Phil, everything. But now, today, you're here with the Programming Lions podcast. So I'm sure you lost sleep over this.
I'm honored. I'm honored. This has been a highlight.
All right. So these boys have cooked up a lot of interesting stuff for you. So welcome to the show, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable, right?
Yeah. Before we start, though, I think you're thirsty. So here you go.
Oh no! Oh my God!
You can have a Pepsi.
Get this away!
I know you'll love it. You'll love a Pepsi.
I can't be seen with that. I can't be seen with that.
For the audience, we tried to pass a Pepsi on him. He wouldn't take it.
No, not publicly.
Wow.
All right, fantastic. Well, let's get into some questions. This is going to be a mix probably of questions that are odd, funny, and some serious ones about sort of the movement and everything that you've been working on. So appreciate it. All right.
All right. So are there some quick wins for MAHA coming up since Trump got elected?
I think there's a lot of quick wins. I think we got to be focused on quick wins. I think it's getting the NIH back to just asking why particularly kids are getting sick. Our big scientific authority, the NIH, which is like supposed to be doing foundational research. When I was a kid, it was like admired by everybody. It doesn't do foundational research. It just basically does pharmaceutical R&D. So the way I describe it is they're not asking why everyone is getting fat or getting diabetic or getting all these diseases like depression. Mm-hmm. They're asking, how do we profit from that? They're creating drugs to manage those conditions. I think Trump is going to direct the NIH to ask the first question, why is it happening? And if we know why it's happening, that can lead to potentially better solutions. I mean, the reason we're getting so sick is because of our food, is because of sleep and exercise, basic things. So we need to just substantiate that with the research. So I think that's a good one. And then conflict reduction. You know, our agencies in the government, you know, the FDA, which oversees drug approvals, is funded by the drug industry. So that makes no sense. Mm-hmm. It's like, why is the agency that's regulating drugs, it's not funded by taxpayers, it's funded by drug makers. So there's a lot of examples of those types of things where you can get the conflicts of interest out of the agencies. So those are two big ones I think you can get momentum on right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. With MAHA, I'm wondering, because I'm pretty sure you basically connected RFK and Trump, right? So I'm wondering if you ever just like look in the mirror and you're like, yep, that was me.
Well, that's an interesting. No, I don't do that.
You don't?
No,
really?
I mean.
But you are kind of credited with introducing these fellows, right?
RFK made a nice statement about that. I mean,
we heard him say it.
I think if I listen, I think there was a rare moment of opportunity for after Trump got shot. When big events happen, there's new opportunities to reformulate. When 9/11 happened, that was used to go into and start a whole new kind of war. Wars everywhere. It's like it can be good or bad. I mean, when COVID happened, there was a big plan to shut down the whole country. So there's opportunities to change things when there's a crisis, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think RFK calling Trump right after he got shot, it solidified a good bond between them, and I had a suspicion that would happen. So I recommended it at that time, but it was a 20-second phone call. I mean, I really obviously credit Bobby and Trump and and this incredible bond that they built. It was just cool to see, honestly. My psychology is I just ask what's next, which is probably not very healthy. It's probably not good. You got to just enjoy the journey, but I don't really. I'm just focused on what we can do next. Yeah.
Well, looking back at it, that may have been the swinging piece of the election, and it put it kind of over the hump and brought the red wave forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think President Trump captured this frustration in many ways. And this election was really important because it's like no more BS. Like, let's reset and focus on big things like cleaning up our conflicts of interest in the military and our education system and health. I think there is a recognition that there's this movement about children's health is beautiful, and it did bring a lot of new people into the coalition.
Yeah.
Young people haven't really been fans of Trump, and they voted much more for Trump. Women, it's been a big issue, and they closed the gender gap, and other demographic groups, independent voters. So Trump did do better. And to make change, you have to do politically popular things. You have to get a coalition behind you. At the end of the day, there's a lot of corruption, but if voters are behind something, that moves the dynamics to get things done. So the fact that voters got excited of various groups was a positive thing.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe a related question that I had was, health shouldn't be a partisan issue or topic, but it has been. People kind of blasting Bobby and the movement of MAHA. How do you combat that and look at this more as this is an American issue and not a partisan issue, and battling some of the criticisms?
Yeah, so the things being talked about I do not think are partisan. When you really listen to what was talked about in the campaign, it's a concern about why kids are getting sick. It's a need for transparency. It's a cleaning up our food supply. But health was political this year, for better or worse. There was one side that was just sticking to what the pharmaceutical companies said for whatever reason on the left. It's very important, right? It's like a lack of critical thinking to just unquestionably listen to the experts. I think it's a real problem, and that was the left. And there was one side talking about clean food. There was one side talking about taking on the pharmaceutical industry. So my framework here is I hope that the MAHA principles become the norm for both sides, and both sides start arguing about how they can be more transparent, how they can be more for kids, how they can be, more about medical freedom. I think the way that happens is Trump gets wins right now. The way politics works is if this movement can help Trump, then people are going to try to come and take that away on the other side. I honestly think that's good. I actually would love for 2028 to be both sides basically on this paradigm of health. I think the way that happens is for Trump to do politically good from it. So that's how I see it. You have to think about things through politics. But you're right. I want it to be seen as a political opportunity to do these things. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, what are some foods that you make your son eat, but you actually hated as a child?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, I was raised. I don't know if you guys have heard of the food pyramid, but in the early '90s there was this thing where the government basically recommended kids to eat a bunch of pasta and a bunch of processed stuff. I mean, that was literally what the government guidelines were. So, my parents followed that. I was eating garbage basically, like just a bunch of carbs and sugar, which was basically the government recommendations. So that was my story. We really try to stick to whole foods. I think pretty much 100% whole foods with our 3-year-old. And he definitely gravitates to the meat, to the steak, and doesn't love the green stuff. So we try to cook the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts in a way that he'll like. But honestly, I'm okay. I think it's kind of interesting, actually. I don't know what you guys, but he really likes steak. He really likes, we have grass-fed yogurt. He likes that. But he loves the meat. We generally, he loves avocados too. I don't know what you guys like. But
no, they're not avocado fans yet.
So... But yeah, he does a lot of avocados, a lot of steak, a lot of yogurt, and I'm kind of okay putting. What we do is just put the food, the healthy meal on the plate, and he can kind of eat what he wants. And if I always say, if he's hungry, I don't know, he might learn I don't know, maybe eat more next.
We had a policy of we would cook dinner, and if the kids didn't want to eat it, then they would be hungry. And so we'll make a good meal, a healthy meal, and if they don't eat it, they're hungry.
He likes cheese. You have to try to get nice. Yeah, but I honestly think kids get addicted, and adults too, to carbs and kind of not optimal food, and you kind of got to wean yourself off.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, and to your point, like if you let them, oh well, he didn't want to eat the healthy meal steak, but we got some chips over here and he likes that, so we'll let him eat that because we don't want him to go to bed hungry. Well, then you start this vicious cycle of bad habits, and so we've tried to guard against that. But I see a lot of families falling into that.
Yeah. And I honestly think it might be better not to eat than have those chips.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean, within reason.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I have heard that ramen does not have some good stuff on it. So I'm wondering what you think about ramen, because me and Max love that
ramen.
stuff, and that would be not very good if one day it was just disappearing, right?
So I always just think my framework is I always just got to look at what's being done to the food. Ramen from that's from Japan, that's made in the traditional way with really good grains. It's fine. I mean, you always hear like people go to Italy and eat a bunch of pasta and lose weight. It's like it's really what's done to the food. I think a good paradigm is like, is this something people ate hundreds of years ago? Is this what grandma used to make? Is what I say. If it's really cheap and heavily, in a bag with a bunch of chemicals in it, it might be problematic. If it's made in an appropriate way, I think ramen is good. Most food can be really, really good, and I think, you look around the world and different cultures that are really healthy, they have a very different diet. I really try not to be on the big dietary wars. My thing is like, let's have food as close to the way it used to be made as possible. People used to get grains and have been making things like bread and different pasta type derivatives for a long time. That can come from a very natural, be done in a very natural way. So I would just look, if it's super cheap in a bag, it might not be great, but
like top ramen, maybe not, but you can make ramen. Maybe we can make different kind of ramen that's a little bit better.
You're just gonna have to.
I like that ramen that you just need to put in the microwave for a minute.
That's fine.
Add water, nuke it, and it's salty and delicious, right?
I like that. I've liked that too. I used to have cup of noodles, every day, the cheapest possible one. In a styrofoam cup.
I'll tell you, it's funny. We were hanging out with some friends at a swim meet, and they were, let's just say, a friend of ours was eating some chips and some ramen, and she's like, man, I got to eat this now before RFK takes it away.
I know.
And we laughed, but the truth is, he's not necessarily trying to take these things away, but put healthier additives and chemicals and have some of these addictive additives taken out of the food.
Yeah.
Food and eating still a lot about choice and along with exercise, but he's not looking to strip these things away or outlaw foods, right? It's just like, let's put more transparency into it.
That's right, transparency. I mean, there's a real libertarian mindset here where most things should be legal, like soda shouldn't be banned, even like cigarettes or drugs. We're a free country, but we shouldn't be incentivizing these things. Like, we don't give cigarettes to kids, but we do subsidize soda for kids, like the food stamp program, which is the program for lower income Americans to help if they're, that goes to soda for kids. So, and I think soda in many ways is actually a bunch of sugar, liquid sugar. It's I don't want to compare it to anything else, but it's like cigarettes. It's not good.
Pepsi.
we showed the kids how much sugar is in a soda, and
it's a lot.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, can you imagine eating that much sugar? And to your point, I was going to ask about this, but food stamps, I think the number one item that it goes towards is carbonated drinks.
It's sugar drinks,
And so I find this wild because then we have taxpayer dollars go to food stamps, helping families that are underprivileged. Okay, that's great. Then they use it for that. But then they also need to go back to the healthcare provider to get a prescription for Ozempic, so that they can offset what we've already given them here. It's like this weird, diabolical, vicious loop.
It's horrible. We poison people and then drug them.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not missing anything. That's actually what's happening.
That's why people got frustrated this election. We poison kids and then drug them. The kids, you guys are more awake than most people, but it's profitable for a kid to be addicted to ultra-processed food and be loving soda, and then that gets them sick, and then healthcare is a big industry, and it's dark, but a kid needing interventions at the hospital and needing drug prescriptions, that's good revenue. So that's the dynamic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like creating a perpetually sick, but not sick enough to die, just
Right.
sick enough
Suffer.
to be on a prescription
Right.
or suffer a bit, and that's pretty dark.
There's someone that I know that like has apple juice every single day, and like once every 2 weeks he's sick.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's impacting his cells. It's basic, but that's creating his internal dynamics in his body, and that's really problematic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Okay, well, let's get on to some more fun questions.
Yeah.
This has been pretty serious, guys. Come on.
So, what's your favorite Travis Kelce endorsed product?
Well, let's see. He's got the cereal.
That's terrible.
He's got
Reese's cereal.
like
Yeah.
it's Reese's and all the other bad ones
Yeah,
combined.
yeah. We got an argument about that, but he's got the COVID vax.
Yeah.
What else does he
Bud
endorse?
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Ooh,
What
I
else?
love Bud
Swift.
Light.
Taylor Swift. What else?
What else?
I feel like
Oh,
he's in
his
every-
soup. Didn't he do chunky soup at some point? Some
He
Campbell's
endor-
soup?
he
No, that
endor-
was Jason
He
Kelce.
endorsed Bud Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's all the bad brands.
It's literally like-
Supported
if you were to
supported
choose,
comma.
if you were to choose the stuff you don't want to endorse, like he pretty much hit all of them,
Yeah.
right? And dated Taylor Swift on top of it, right?
And then endorsed
And he
comma.
also got really mad at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember? He
Ma-
threw down his helmet.
Yeah, I'd probably
And he shoved it into your
say
ear.
Taylor Swift, maybe. Out of those,
Yeah.
pretty bad list.
it's a pretty rough list.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
Yeah,
list.
Max has been pretty disappointed. He used to like Travis Kelce, but it all changed.
The thing is, I'm holding back my rage right now. But
He
the thing
hates
is,
him.
sometimes whenever like we start talking about him, I go in like a total rage.
Oh, you do not want to see him in a rage.
Yeah, I think we had. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
If you were to make a pizza, what toppings would you put on it?
A lot of meat.
A lot of meat.
I'm a meat
lot
guy.
of meat.
Yeah, like I like the meat lovers pizza. Yeah, just a
Oh,
bunch
that
of meat.
is so good.
Sausage and pepperoni and
Yeah.
buffalo chicken,
Bacon.
bacon,
Ooh.
All the meats.
all the meats. All the meats.
But you're a health guy
Steak.
though. Shouldn't like that.
You can eat meat as a health guy.
Really?
What's wrong with meat?
Meat?
I know, but like I'm just like thinking like
Mom's plant diet,
Yeah.
but we love meat.
Yeah.
No,
Meat
no, it's got to be quality meat. But
Yeah.
but the ecosystem of like a farm is meant to have animals and plants. I mean, I really believe that we just need to get back to natural processes and having everything exist in a kind of ecosystem that's it used to be kind of naturally accustomed to is. There's a good book or a good documentary called "Kiss the Ground."
Kiss the ground?
Kiss the ground. Yeah, it's worth watching. It's about regenerative agriculture and how animals and plants kind of get farmed together and they kind of are. You don't need pesticides because literally animal urine helps like protect against. It's all actually meant to be this way. So I think if you raise things the way they're supposed to be raised historically, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Fortunately, we shifted over. Mom's pretty smart about all of this, but we shifted over to a meat company that gets all natural,
Yeah.
like grass-fed beef.
Grass-fed, yeah.
And they come to our house and they deliver it. And, the price is not that much different than you
Right.
get at the store. And it's not injected with dyes and water and a bunch of weird preservatives. So we like that, and it feels a little bit healthier for us.
It's
Yeah.
weird. When we were at a vacation with Grandma and Grandpa, we saw something or we bought some meat, and I think it said it was like 33% meat or something, or like 33% beef,
Yeah.
and the rest was like some crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. But Grandma and Grandpa love that stuff, and it did taste good, but it's probably just not very healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, not
it's
so
like
much.
once in a while.
Maybe. In
So-
moderation, Max? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were stuck in an airport, which has like all those terrible places, and if like you were stuck in it, you couldn't get out, what would you eat?
Well, how long were I stuck there for?
Let's just say 20
Let's for
days.
like
20
like,
days.
20 days?
I was
That's
gonna
a
say,
long
if I
time
was
to
like,
be in an airport.
sometimes I just try
Would you-
not to eat.
This is like that Tom Hanks movie.
20 days?
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
days.
Like protein, like steak and whatever meat they have, like a salad.
Would it be different if you were stuck there for a year?
Would they still have food?
Yeah.
So it's opera. I just couldn't leave.
Yeah, you just can't leave, but everything else works.
I'd load up on that at the Hudson News with all the jerky they have. I like the jerky, nuts. I'd go try to just get like steak, like without much oil or anything on it. You know, salads with, I don't know, the seed oils are in the dressings probably. What else? Yeah, that's probably what I do.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think you can survive.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine just being stuck in an airport. Nobody else is
That would
in
be
there.
rough.
And you just see a bunch of like food
Like
companies.
in and out and like
Like, yeah, maybe like, would there be a Chipotle?
Probably.
Yeah. Salad bowls with meat,
Yeah.
Sounds
with guac.
Yeah.
Guac.
Yeah, a lot of guac.
Guac.
Yeah, I do that. Starbucks.
Yeah.
Go
Like
to get the
Starbucks?
they're not great. If I ever have to get something, I get the egg bites, which have a lot of bad ingredients,
Yeah.
but they're, you know,
It still tastes good, probably.
yeah, it's mostly eggs.
if you,
Yeah.
So if you had one executive order as president, what would you do?
I would ban direct-to-consumer pharma advertising.
Oh.
Yeah, because they allow that pharma's able to buy off the news,
Yeah.
which is a problem. So the pharma ads on TV, I think, are a bad thing.
And we're one of only a couple of countries
Yeah,
that do
like-
that,
like
right?
two, yeah. Yeah.
So that is wild.
That's
like
things.
everybody else has figured it out, but not us.
Yeah,
Huh?
exactly, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
strange.
that's kind of it's a pretty obvious collusion there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, okay. We should probably not. I'm going to go back into the more serious topics.
Alright.
Oh.
I have some very interesting ones here.
Oh.
So, what do you think is the most corrupt part of the system, mainly the government, and how do you think we can fix it?
It's a good question. I think one of the most corrupt parts of the government is our Medicare, Medicaid services. So, do you guys know what Medicare and Medicaid is?
I don't know what Medicaid is, but I know what Medicare is.
Okay. So those are the big ways the government spends healthcare dollars. So Medicare is for the old people, and then Medicaid is for lower income people. And they spend so much on those programs, and they're so complicated that whatever standards the United States government sets for them impacts private insurance. So $2 billion basically go through these programs and then set the standard for the rest of the, which is another $2.5 billion. The U.S. government outsources code creation to the American Medical Association. So the government's like, okay, we need to figure out like what doctors should do, what they get reimbursed for, and they just have chosen to outsource that decision making to a pharma lobbying group
Yeah.
called the American Medical Association. I mean, one thing the American Medical Association is just totally corrupt. They're recommending Ozempic for 6-year-olds.
Oh.
They don't have an age limit for gender transition surgeries.
Oh.
They are very corrupt.
Ah.
And what we could do is take away the power of that organization and just have a better process to determine what the standard of care is. I mean, the standard of care could be in Medicare, Medicaid, like if you're depressed, you know, that you could get incentivized to work out more or eat better.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like they give kids drugs.
Right. Like the first option is a drug instead of a habit
But the
or
first
a therapy.
now the first option's drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if y'all are successful in this endeavor, and we hope you are, in draining the swamp and fixing a lot of this corruption, how do you keep it out? Because let's say we got 4 years here, and then, God forbid, like changes happen. Like, how do you keep it out of the system? Because it seems like corruption always has a way of finding its way back into places.
Yeah, we got to be relentless. We got to just get win after win after win. And then, like I said, change the paradigm, make it politically popular to fight for kids, but keep the pressure. It's a never-ending. When you say, do I look in the mirror and feel like, you should do that. You should celebrate the victories, but it is a never-ending push. It's like maybe anything in life, I guess. Like, it's just like nothing. There's no destination. It's like we won the election, and then it's like Bobby's got to get appointed. Then Bobby gets appointed. It's like he's got to get the right people in. It's like now he's got to get the policies done. It's like each policy is going to be a fight. It's like a never-ending game. Mm-hmm. So you got to just enjoy the journey and keep the momentum up and have process to just keep getting wins. But yeah, they're absolutely they're trying to corrupt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Bobby RFK's first name?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like Robert.
Well, it is
yeah.
Robert, but
He told me to call him Bobby. He
Bobby.
likes to be called. I used to always, I still say Robert a lot, but he likes to be called Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Well, what do you guys say we shift into our fun section?
I like that idea.
Yeah, we have a
Rapid-
section called Rapid Fire.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Oh, wow.
All right. So,
Max will go over the rules.
yeah. All right. So the rules are that you have to answer as fast as possible with no explaining.
All right.
All right. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go.
So, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
X-ray vision.
Would you rather die to a great white shark or flaming hot volcano?
Flaming hot volcano.
The coolest invention in your lifetime.
Driverless cars.
Would you rather fight a 1,000-pound duck or 1,001-pound ducks?
1,001-pound ducks.
Okay.
Better.
What is the best book that you've ever read?
Good
The
energy.
Fountainhead.
Oh,
Good energy. Yeah, the Fountainhead.
Okay.
that's a good one.
All right. Was that all, Will? All good?
Okay.
All right. Have you ever been stuck in a bathroom stall without toilet paper?
Yes.
Same. That concludes rapid fire.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Wow. That is Rapid Fire. Thanks for entertaining us on that. And with that, we'll wrap up the podcast. Calley, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Love what you're doing.
You have been relentlessly, I know, traveling and working and everything since the election. So you must be exhausted, but keep up the great work.
thank you,
And
guys.
we appreciate what you're doing. You're
I love
fighting
what
for
you guys are
America.
doing.
You're fighting for the youth. And yeah.
Keep pushing, guys. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You can keep the Pepsi.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.